welcome to the 30th episode of Warren is Off the Clock, where I am officially off the clock with everything related to the MrWarrenHayes show. Now we just sit around and we chat about wrestling, pro wrestling, and just have a nice cool time. And tonight it's special because I'm offering it up as a free preview for the MrWarrenHayes Patreon, and patreon.com/MrWarrenHayes. And if you're watching right now, like on the Patreon page, and you'd like to jump into the live chat, because we've got people here. Just open it up in your YouTube, in the YouTube page, or the YouTube app. However you're taking a look at it, however you're watching it right now, it'll be good. I'll tell you why this is different. Because DGMC starts off the chat saying farts, right? This is what makes it different. So he starts by saying farts, and then Throwback says, nah, damn. Because Throwback was like, he was typing first, just as DGMC was writing farts. So technically speaking, no disrespect, Throwback, I love you, you're a good guy, but DGMC wins across the board tonight, because not only did he win by being first, but he won because he didn't type first, he typed farts. And to me, like that just rounds everything out perfectly. Patrick Mason's here as well. Ben is here as well. Tim is here as well. How's everyone doing? Yes, I'm 30 for 30. The 30th edition of Warren is Off the Clock happens on the 30th. You're right, Patrick. I hadn't thought of that. I see. I'm piss poor at promotion. That's what that means. I don't know why I didn't figure it out, and I don't know why I didn't push it like that. I like doing this. One of the reasons I do this is because that I take the time to do the post stream. It helps me cool down from the live recording of the main show, because the main show then ends up right as podcasts and whatever. So so I'm more invested in trying to create a complete experience, whether you're listening or watching it not live. So I try to do something that will please as many different formats as possible. Here, a lot more chill. I get to take the time to talk with you good folks. You just look at myself. No, wait, yeah, and just be a lot more relaxed. And it just so happens I like to talk about pro wrestling. So, so there you go. Throwback says maybe because it's an ESPN thing. Oh, the 30 for 30, right? That's a thing. Yeah, that's a thing on ESPN. I don't watch much of ESPN. I like my phony sports. I like my fake sports. Real sports, y'all can keep them. I like my pretend fighting. Oh boy. Okay, let's start by while I was doing the show notes today, well, over the past couple of days, I was feeling quite sick over the past couple of days. I won't lie. Got a bit of a fever. Got a bit of a basketball is at work, says DGMC. I got a bit of I got a bit of a hey hell a bringer. Welcome. He says I heard this was for free today. Greetings from Germany. Good to have you. Thanks for dropping in. I am feeling better. Thank you very much, Patrick. I'm feeling much better. And I got a bit of a fever. I was a little worried. You know, you get the fever these days and you're like, but no other symptoms. I took it nice and easy today. Got a lot of rest. A lot of fluids. Yeah, I made sure I was okay. So the show notes have been, I usually posted them, but they were in such disarray. They weren't postable. So as I was finishing everything up today, this is my very roundabout way to get into a story here. And it wasn't a particularly interesting story. I'll give you that much. I got to thinking that I haven't been talking much about Drew McIntyre over in the show over the past few weeks because I feel that there's so much other things happening, things really super strong or really weak that I really want to go and underscore. And this is despite the fact that I feel that Drew has been a fantastic champion, and if longtime viewers of the Mr. Warren Hayes show will know how much of a fan I am of Drew McIntyre. I've been in awe of his return to main roster ever since he returned to main roster. Sorry. If you're new to this, the chat usually just derails my train of thought. Ben says the only prescription was more cowbell. Throwback says you gotta have more cowbell. Hellbringer says more cowbell can never be a bad thing. Yeah, more cow. All right, whatever. Patrick says Drew has been a really great champion and strong champion so far. Right, and then it got me thinking of the other champion they have, the Universal guy, Braun, who won the title off of Bill Goldberg, and it's weird. It's weird how different they both are as far as champions go, right? As much as I find that Drew looks the part and acts it, he has that charisma and very natural energy. He feels very comfortable in what he's doing. His personality is so strong. It radiates confidence. He's a strong champion. He looks good. He's been put in good matches where he can shine. Outside of that stupid match with the Big Show, I still don't know why they decided to do that. That's a no. But outside of that, he's been having strong matches, but he's with strong opponents. Whereas Braun there hasn't been much to Braun, has there? And you know, I talked to Sean Ross Sapp. I mean, He's my claim to fame. What can I tell you? But I talked to Sean, and Sean keeps telling me when we talk about Braun, how much of because he's interviewed Braun in the past, and he keeps saying how charismatic and witty and natural Braun is. If they were to let Braun Strowman just be himself on camera, instead of having really awkward and stupid lines, and stop making him a smiley baby face, because that's what they're turning him into, he could come across as a much stronger champion than he is right now. The only prescription is more cowbell. Thank you, DGMC. If Braun were able, if he had the capacity, let's say, to not be a smiling, grateful babyface, and revert a little more back to the real monster among men, the guy who feuded against Roman Reigns and was flipping semi-trucks around, if we got that guy, he would be on a whole different level than Drew. We'd really have two very strong, very different champions. But what they're doing with Braun right now is kind of like what they did with Rhea Ripley, where he's this tough guy badass, but then wins the championship, and then he's all smiles and he's so grateful and wow, I did such good things, instead of keeping his edge. Because that's what happened with Rhea Ripley, you'll all recall. Comes in, leather, tough as nails, scowling and all that, then wins the championship, and then she's wide-eyed and smiling, and I'm so happy to be here, and that's not why we got into Rhea Ripley in the first place. The callbacks, when they did the Moment of Bliss segment a couple of weeks ago with the gift, the callback to Team Little Big, I think is cool. I'm good with WWE referencing canon, but at some point, you also have to think of the present, and I really think they're doing Braun a disservice right now. What do you guys think? Throw back in the chat. Says Shawn Michaels was on backstage, and Drew noted he would drive 4 hours round trip, even 8 if he had to, and contributes Shawn for his help. Shawn said Drew was like a sprung. I'm not sure what you mean, but I get the gist of what you're saying. Though he said a spong. What's a spong? Is this an ESPN word that I don't get? It could be, but I guess I get what you're saying is that Shawn was a good. Oh, a sponge. Okay, a sponge. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm stupid. Okay, that it's on me. That Drew was a sponge. Yes, well, because they did have a good relationship. That's fantastic. Like SpongeBob. No, I don't think like SpongeBob, Patrick, but SpongeBob and Patrick. Okay. Ben says the Universal Studios Championship is not prestigious. It's they want it. Well, I mean, it depends how you look at it, but they haven't had a couple of. Would we go as far as to argue that it was prestigious when Brock Lesnar had it? Do I dare say that? Because it's a bit of luster right now. Hellbringer says Braun lost his brawn. Kind of. I agree. DJMC, my God. He says, Quizlemania's on Ross Sapp. Wow, did you get an autograph? No. Patrick Mason says, I think they did the Big Show match to make Drew look good / strong for beating Brock Lesnar and Big Show. Two huge name / stars who also happen to be really big dudes within a 20-minute span. I agree. I understand exactly what they did. The problem is that Big Show hasn't wrestled in forever, and the match wasn't good. The match just turned out wasn't good. And the match with Big Show was actually longer than the match with Brock. And Brock he's the current champ. He's still booked like a monster, and he can still go. So it puzzles me. You can make an argument, and in story, the Big Show match was longer because Big Show was fresh, and Drew was just coming off his match with Brock. Okay, it's still weird. But I completely I'm with you, Patrick. I understand the booking. I'm sorry if I wasn't clear enough. It's not that I didn't understand the booking. It's that the match itself was weird and unnecessary. Throwback says they need to let Braun go. Let him rip and make it a long run. You mean let go like fire him? Send him off into the Indies? Boy, they'd welcome him with arms open, wouldn't they? Let's not forget those comments that he made a few weeks ago on Twitter regarding independent wrestlers all bitching because they didn't have money and whatnot. Hellbringer says maybe Braun just needs a cowbell around his neck. Okay. Patrick says we need the monster among champions. I like that. Braun and Rhea got dieseled. That's a good call, DGMC. Yeah, I'd go for that. Tim says, I can tell WWE letting Drew just call things on the fly. Braun getting watered down. I agree. You kind of feel like WWE is giving Drew a little more. Drew's going a little off script, it feels, or at least fooling around with it. Patrick says, Warren, you have no idea how often I get randomly asked, is this the Krusty Krab? The match with Big Show is how the Brock match should have gone. Both got offense that just wasn't their finishers. LOL. Yeah, sure. DGMC says like fart him out. No, not fart him out. Why did I make you a mod? And Throwback says, let him have a long title run. Okay, I understand. When he said let him go, let him have a long extended title run. Rumors have it that they want to go back to their original pre-WrestleMania plan and have Bray be the champion so that he can drop it to Roman. So I don't know how long. I don't see Bray Wyatt defeating Braun Strowman, but I could see them getting 2 matches out of this feud with this Braun Bray feud, and the second match be versus the Fiend, and then the Fiend defeats your boy Braun, I think. Why did I make you a mod? And DGMC says, I ask myself that same question every Thursday, Warren. Patrick asks, what do you think the plan for Bray as champ would be while Roman is out? Like, who would challenge him? I really think it's a play it by ear kind of situation. I really think that I really think they do want to get the strap back on Roman. I think Roman defeating Bray is a good idea because this is another guy that they have a lot of storied history that they can dive into and pull back out. There was and I mean even outside of the Wyatt family Shield feud, they could really decide to do another deep dive into Roman's past as well and how he's positioned himself. Look at what they did with Cena. Imagine if they did something similar with Roman Reigns and do the callbacks to the fact that the audience was rejecting him and so on and so forth. There's a lot of good stuff. If they wanted to do another Funhouse style match with Roman, they'd have a hell of a lot of material there as well to do something super compelling. Throwback says, that would make any sense if you're going to give Braun a shot and keep him strong. All to have him lose makes Braun weak. I agree. But Braun is another guy that I don't think they know exactly what to do with him. I think Braun was just the perfect opponent for Goldberg was just the only guy that made sense once Braun was the only guy that made sense once Roman decided to not show up. I think he's just a question of circumstance. I really feel that they want to put the strap back on Roman, and they're going to do it come hell or high water. Patrick Mason says, I agree. Roman and Bray is a good feud in terms of story. I'm excited for it. I miss Roman. Denny W, welcome to the chat, says, well, if Bray beats Braun, Vince can bring back Goldberg to bury Bray again, proven to not be afraid of the Fiend, and then we can get the match we all didn't want of Roman versus Old Bill. Hey, you know what? Denny, I'm really glad you're here. I don't know if you're new here. I hate Goldberg. I don't want him back. I don't know if you're doing this to trigger me because it's working. This is supposed to be the chill stream. This is supposed to be the stream where Warren takes it nice and cool. And I know what you mean though. Being stupid. I do hate Bill Goldberg though. I really can't stand him. But that being said, it wouldn't surprise me. It's a plausible circumstance here. Throwback says they could even go further and go back to FCW and talk about how Roman was noticed and Bray had to work hard. Absolutely. I really think there's a lot of stuff to be there's a lot of story that you could bring into a Firefly Funhouse style match again. I really do. There's a lot of stuff there. Patrick says, why do I always respond to you out loud as if you can hear me? Oh, well, because I'm loud myself. And like DGMC says, I am everywhere. JK Schwal03, how you doing? Says, give it time. They'll put it back on Goldberg. What is wrong with you people tonight? Goldberg so Roman can beat him for the title. Just throw in a second contract signing just for you. DGMC says, I am an unironic Goldberg fan and I feel he's quite underrated. And throwback chants, Oldberg. My God. Denny says it's a Vince thing to do. Sorry, should post a trigger warning next time. I don't want Old Bill back either. Ben says, Goldberg contract signings and Americans questioning back milk in Canada. I forgot about that rant. I should dig that up and clip it. I don't even remember on what episode it is. Hey, I want to talk about the TNT Championship Finals. We got over on AEW. We're finally at the. I'm moving along because I see you guys talking about Goldberg, and I'm good. Thanks. We finally got to our finals this week. We know it's going to be Cody Rhodes versus Lance Archer. It is what everyone predicted from the get-go, and there's nothing wrong with that because I really do think it is the best story moving forward. It really is the best. It really is the best story, the best outcome. Yes, it would have been nice if Darby Allin would have won, so on and so forth. But as far as story goes, creating something Lance Archer and Cody has been building for a while now, it makes sense. Now, I want to posit to yees in the chat. I want you to tell me. February 21st, Ben, was the milk bag rant really? I felt it was February 2020. I thought it was older than that. Jason PS3, how you doing? Okay. All right. Jason PS3 says Darby will get his time. Denny says it'd have been nice if Cody had actually pinned his last opponent. Yep. We're on the same page. We're on the same page. We absolutely are. So we're at the finals here. And the question that I want to ask to you, chat, is who do you think is going to be the first TNT champion? And I'm going to go straight out and I'm going to give you my thoughts. And I think it should be Cody. And if it were a couple of weeks ago, at the start of the tournament, I think I was feeling Lance Archer. And I was like, it has to be Lance Archer. They're bringing him in, making him come off as this huge monster, murder hawk monster, whatever they're calling him. a guy who just runs through other dudes. I'm like, I mean, logically, it has to be him. It has to be him. But then I got to thinkins about other thinkins here. And the best way to create prestige for any title is to give it to a guy or a girl, but in this case, a guy who has prestige, who has who is highly appreciated by the fans, who is a draw. I think what makes most sense as the first champion for the TNT title, it should be Cody. Because arguably, he's the strongest guy in the entire company. Like, strongest, I mean, most over. He's the most over guy in the company. First, second. There's arguments to be made between maybe him and Mox, maybe throw in Jericho in there. There's arguments to be made, but he's so bloody over. And he is the face of the company. He is entirely the face of the company. He's the guy that the fans relate to. He's the guy on the call, so on and so forth. If you're starting off a title and you want it to mean something, give it to someone who will give it meaning just by holding it. Nothing against Lance Archer. Archer has a ways to get over with the crowd yet. Cody, on the other hand, you give it to him and it has instant meaning. Plus, you add into the fact, that Cody Rhodes, he has a stipulation. He can never challenge for the AEW world title ever again. So this is it for him. He's got to, he can make this his title, and I'd be okay with that because it would be meaningful. Now, like a lot of people said, I wish Darby would have gotten it like straight off the bat. But imagine now at this point where Cody and Darby have an established rivalry, a sporting rivalry between them both. They've done this now. Imagine if we go down a few months and Darby's like, hey pal, I'm next in line for that title. You've already got story behind it. You've got a legitimate contender and a guy who would instantly be elevated, winning the mid-card title that was held by one of the top guys in the company. Or whoever else would win it. Sammy Guevara would be another great example. There's a lot of good stuff you could do. Make the title mean something. Let Cody win it. I think it'd be really the best outcome here. And I'm going to head on over to Le Chat here because I'm French and I can put Le everywhere as opposed to that imposter Chris Jericho, who was, first of all, wasn't actually born in Canada. He was born in New York, then moved to Winnipeg. And it's not because you live in Canada that you necessarily know how to speak French. He probably manages, because I would say he's a smart guy. But look, I'll use the Le denominator properly because le is for masculine, la is for feminine. So, Le Champion, yeah, that's okay. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I'm going to the chat. Le Chat. Hellbringer says Archer. Cody, DGMC says Cody takes it, but Archer chases him down eventually. That'd be fun. Throwback says Cody. Jason PS3 says Lance. Ben says Cody by DQ. See, I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think they do a DQ. But then again, Cody Rhodes matches, man, sometimes they're overbooked. Like 30% of the time, they're overbooked in a great. So maybe I wouldn't put it past them. Let's put it that way. Patrick Mason says, I think it'll be Lance Archer, and I think it should be because he needs to stay strong, especially since he just kicked out of the Crossroads at 1. When did he kick out of the Crossroads? When did he kick out of the Crossroads? Because he didn't fight Cody yet. You mean against Dustin? That's the curtain call. It's a little different than the Crossroads. But he did kick out at one, yes. Hey, Blue Riot, welcome. Yeah, we're talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Right now we're talking about Cody and Lance Archer. No, and don't listen to GGMC. We're not talking about Goldberg. Hellbringer says Cody should get the title once the live crowds are back. Sure. He also says for now they should build up Archer first, which is, I wouldn't be angry if they did it. I think I can understand the reasoning and the booking behind both. I wouldn't be mad about it. I think it's just really a good opportunity to put the title on Rhodes. Give it some instant prestige. I don't remember what I cringed at. Throwback. Sorry. Jason PS3 says so Cody by controversial ending. See, I hope not, but I wouldn't put it past them. JK Schwal says Cody also would like to eventually see Archer be one to take down Mox in a Wrestling Kingdom rematch. That'd be awesome because they had a fun match it was at Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah, for the US title. It was a lot of fun. No, we're not talking about Goldberg. Goodfella, how you doing? He says, I'd like to see Darby's merch numbers. The young ones and women gravitating towards him. He seems always to be getting a good pop. I agree. I'd love to see his merch numbers. Well, doesn't PW Pro Wrestling Tees, don't they have standings like their top selling merch? Maybe I dreamt that. I bought, by the way, I bought one of Heath Slater's I Got Fired t-shirts because I like clever use. I like clever use of logos like that. The top selling items of the week, we've got Chris Jericho merch, Orange Cassidy, Britt Baker, Kenny Omega, Jericho, Janela. Well, it's not there. He's not on the top selling items this week. Anyway. DGMC says Cody's the first champ. Archer then gets a long run and Darby takes it in 2021. I like that booking. Patrick Mason says I'm not talking about Goldberg. I wonder if they're going to eventually, Patrick Mason says, I wonder if they're eventually going to put all the titles, AEW TNT tag on Inner Circle like Undisputed Era had. I mean, if they want to make them come off as a huge dominant faction, that's a good way to do it. Blue Riot says Warren Hayes versus Chris Jericho confirmed. Oh, I'll take him in a French off. And it's not as sexy as it sounds. Tim says it's going to be a draw. Ben has a joke for all us French Canadians out there. He says, in Saguenay, we'd say, le champion. Then he says, I think if you want a title to mean something, you have the champion win it cleanly and fairly. I do think Cody is a great choice, but not a DQ controversial win. Kind of have a tendency to agree. Blue Riot says Wrestle Kingdom 14 feels like ages ago. My God, yes. Feels like a whole other world, doesn't it? Goodfella says, I'm part of the Major Wrestling Figure Patreon, and Heath Slater drops in the private Facebook page. Always funny. Sold a lot of gear recently and it got brought right up. Yeah, see, no, that's exactly. So, well, that's cool. That's cool because Heath Slater's, I think he's a cool guy, and I love his merch, and I love the guy. Tragically underutilized. Like I said, Hellbringer, a French off, yes, but not like you think. Throwback says, it's more and more looking like AEW is slowly turning into an early WCW. They need to validate this new title, and Cody gives it that. I agree. That's pretty much my point. When WCW was good. That's the thing. Yes, you must all tremble in front of the mod powers of DGMC. Heath compares maybe, Goodfella says, Heath compares maybe to Drake. Solid wrestler, great when given a mic. I agree. Denny says, I'd much rather see Heath versus Drew than Jinder. If you want to go down the 3MB route, yep. I completely agree. Throwback says they have to make it like Miz did with the IC title. Sure. Miz's run with the IC title was fantastic. It really was. Book the title strong for Cody. I agree with that, everyone. And on that note, I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight. Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. We had a good chat. It was a fun time. If you like like I said at the start of the show, for those of you who weren't here, it's different from what I do on the Mr. Warren Hayes show, because here I take it easy. We open up some topics and I really dive into chatting with you guys. So if you like this, you like the Mr. Warren Hayes show, you want to chat more wrestling, get that close contact so we can exchange ideas, consider becoming a member of the Mr. Warren Hayes Patreon. You support the show directly, plus you get access to this show that happens every Thursday night for Patreons exclusively over on the $5 tier, the Power Pal tier, plus all sorts of extra content as well. So go check it out. Consider subscribing. Hey, it's April 30th, so you're starting a brand new month tomorrow. It's the perfect time to jump right in. Or if you want, you can also join the Mr. Warren Hayes YouTube channel by going to youtube.com/MrWarrenHayes and hitting that join button, showing your support there. Will give you access to some custom emojis for all the live chats that you come and hang out with. The live chats, the premieres, it's a good time. And it's another nice, neat little way to show support for your boy. So thank you all very much for coming. Thank you for taking advantage of this free preview of Warren is Off the Clock. Next week, we'll be back on Patreon, but I'll also be back next week. Hey, and I'll be doing a Money in the Bank prediction show, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. And I've got a cool guest that I've been trying to get for a while. I don't want to spoil it just yet, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. And no, it's not Goldberg. God damn it! Now I'm going to end the show now, and in a bad mood. No, I'm kidding. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye.